Hi everyone. So last week I was deploying a build of a project that I'm currently working on in Unity to my Xbox One S console via a UWP application. It was successful. I kept iterating and making builds. I put reflection probes in to get really nice reflection on my metallic materials, and I noticed strange things happening on the surface of the materials with the reflections. So what I wanted to do was walk through that real quick and edit this video so we can keep it short and just show that issue happening and exactly what process I go through, the workflow that I use in Unity to make that build to the console and how that works. So I am using the Unity LTS 2022.3.38F1. That is the latest and greatest stable version of Unity Editor. And what I'm going to do here is I will just create a default Universal 3D or a URP project. I'm just going to put it right on the desktop. We'll call it project and we'll skip through a few parts here. We're going to just let that go and I'll come back when it's done and the project is created. Okay, and that URP project is now created. So I'm just going to go in here and remove these README assets because it's a little annoying. I use the tall layout. So if you look at this layout and you're kind of saying, this looks a little different than what I use tall with one column here. So I'm going to go over into the build settings. I currently have the SDK and everything installed, all of the framework that I need. I am using Visual Studio 2022. It's a D3D project. We are targeting this latest Windows SDK here. And I'm going to, the build configuration I'm going to do is remote device via the device portal. And I'm going to bring this off screen here because I'm going to put an IP address in there. And we'll just switch the platform over real quick. And we'll make just a default build as soon as this thing is done compiling. Previously, what I was doing was making a static build in a folder and then opening up Visual Studio and cleaning the solution in there and deploying it from Visual Studio. But I really enjoyed this convenience of just doing the build directly from the Unity editor. So in the project folder, let's just outside of it here, let's just create a folder called build, select, and we will compile the UWP application in that folder. And this is super convenient, super fast. I'm really sort of blown away at how easy Unity and Microsoft have made just getting an executable like some of your content running on the console. It's just freaking amazing. We're waiting for it to build here real quick. I haven't gone in and done any optimizations to sort of stripping any of the shaders we're not using, adjusting any of the build settings or anything. This is just the LTS. This is switched over to the UWP platform by default. So all of those changes to support this platform in the Unity editor ideally have been made. This is sort of one of those things we're also testing against. So right now we're doing this build and run from the editor. So it actually is doing like a headless build here using Visual Studio. It's doing all that stuff that I would do when I was sort of opening up Visual Studio and doing it manually. This bug that I reported and put in Unity discussions was also occurring using the other method of deploying from cleaning it and rebuilding that inside of Visual Studio. So it occurs in both. By default, I think when you switch over to UWP platform in the Unity editor, by default, I think it's DX11. I've tested this. The bug was in DX11, and then I moved over to DX12 because it's more ideal. And DX12 had the same issue. I should have edited this out real quick. Okay, running. So I'm looking over at my console over there. I see it loaded. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Xbox device portal here, and I'm just going to do a media capture real quick, and we're going to capture the screen. So here we go. There you go. this is what I see on my Xbox screen right now. Awesome. Awesome. I'm literally looking at, this is exactly what we have in the Unity editor. And before, I'm going to just stop fawning over that real quick. And we're going to test the actual issue. That's just a sanity check to show, hey, it's actually working. I can deploy and test the build. So what I'm going to do right now is just make a metallic so that it's nice and reflective. We'll put it on there. And we will just make it nice and smooth like that, so we can see that it's reflecting. And this is using Unity's Sky Manager. Let's go over into lighting. I'm going to dock the lighting tab. Sky Manager is all this stuff over here in the environment. So what's happening here is it's using a real-time reflection probe here based on the skybox. So you don't have a reflection probe in the scene. But what we can do is I'm going to just build and run again. And I may have to cover that. I think the IP address of the hardware actually showed up there in the little build snippet. I'll come back when this part is done. Okay, so the build has completed, and what I'm going to do is just go ahead and capture another screenshot. And wow, okay, holy mackerel. All right, so this is what we see on device. So this is what we see in Unity Editor. This is what we see on the Xbox console right now. And I'm really surprised about this because the issue was previously only showing up with baked reflection probes or custom reflection probes, meaning, so if I go in here, let's do this. One of my favorite sites, if you don't know about this already, Polyhaven, go over here. They have some really nice open source license terms for these models, textures, HDRIs. They got really nice stuff. But what I'm interested in is just grabbing an HDR. So I'm going to grab a really small one so that we can work with it quickly. Okay, so we have our EXR. This is our HDRI image. We're going to just drag this into Unity. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll create a reflection probe here. And we're just going to do our diligence. And usually what I'll do is do custom. We need to go to our reflection probe here. And we need to set it to cube because we want to make it a cube map. If we want to use it for scene reflections for materials on objects in a scene, we need to use the specular glossy reflection convolution. And then I'm just going to leave this alone. It's already going to compress it for UWT to an HDR BC6H compression format. So we don't need to change the texture format. Oh, yep, it uses MIP maps and it wants trilinear filtering on that. So let's do that. And then let's apply that. And what will happen is our scene reflection probe will now override our Sky Manager. So we could actually just turn off the Sky Manager stuff for, okay. So we'll turn that off and let's make this a little less smooth. It's insane. So we can see what's going on here a little better. Okay. There we go. Actually, what we need to do in order to make it look like a real metallic, like a brushed metal. All right, this will just become really apparent. I'm going to do build and run over here. Just build this to the console again. Good times, right? And again, I'm not going to, for the sake of this video, I'm not going to go in and switch it over to DX12. I'm not going to go in and switch it between forward plus, or deferred. I'm not going to try it without post-processing or with post-processing and all these different things. There were a ton of different aspects that I ran through for an entire day. Okay, I'm looking over at the console now. Captured that screenshot. This is what we see on the console. And this was really the issue that I was seeing. So you'll see that, like, say like this face, the positive X on the cube map, I think that's the positive X on the cube map. that's mapped to the proper face, but our positive Y, negative Y, positive Z, negative X, they're mapped. Something's wrong with the face mapping there. Do I know what's going on with that? No, I'm not a graphics engineer. I am a technical artist that knows a lot of technical gobbledygook, but this is something that escapes me, and I just wanted to sort of demonstrate this and show folks. I can give some information about the project, but honestly, I haven't really changed anything in this project. This is a default UWP platform project deploying through Visual Studio to an Xbox One S, and this is exactly what we get by default. If there's some settings that we need to do, or I need to do to make this work, maybe I'm overlooking those. Maybe this is just some kind of mistake where I overlook something. I don't know. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and hopefully we can get this sorted out.